G4G, Grinding for Greatness. This is Jihad Elamine. This is Fred Osborne. We're going to talk to Mr. Osborne about his goal of becoming a family man and specifically having a big family and what that means and what it means to be a father and actually what it means to still be an individual while being a father and all of the other things come along with having a big family. We can jump into the questions. First question is, what did you want to be when you were a kid?
Well, I wanted to be a few things. I wanted to be a veterinarian at one point because I have a love for animals. I also wanted to be a pro basketball player. We definitely played our fair share of basketball growing up, and you know, everybody's driveway had a basketball goal. And excuse me. And we would play, all the boys and girls get in the neighborhood every day, and I wanted to be a family man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When did you decide, I guess, that you knew, like, okay, I want a big family, I want to have multiple kids?
Probably just start from my family. First of all, just the way they introduced me into the world, it was love. You know, it was my grandmother, my grandfather, my mother, my uncles, my cousins. You know, in our neighborhood, it was just, you know, all the families in my neighborhood were great, and they all weren't complete, you know, necessarily with a mother and a father or things like that. But it was like love, you know what I'm saying? And then that on top of just always having you know, being intrigued by big families. You know, I was a Michael Jackson fan growing up, and the Jacksons got a huge family. I was a In Living Color fan growing up. They got a huge family. The Wayans family, you know, the Cosby Show was me and my grandfather was one of our favorite shows to watch. And he, you know, Mr. Cosby had a bunch of kids, 5 kids. So it was just, I don't know, I kind of felt like I wanted to be part of something
like that,
large.
Okay. Do you have siblings?
I do. Mariah Osborne, Tiffany Webb, and James Webb.
All right. So 2 sisters and a brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. Tell us a little bit about, I guess, you growing up with your brothers and sisters, your family.
We had kind of my siblings, we had a divided family. Me and my sister grew up with my mother.
Okay.
And my older brother and my older sister grew up with my father.
Okay.
And his wife. So, but we got a great relationship. All my siblings, we get along.
Yeah.
We got along as kids. You know, we speak to each other. You know, we wish each other happy holidays, and so even though it was a kind of a split up situation, we still managed to get along.
Get along and feel family. Feel like it's your sister. They not a stranger that you just know.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's, I mean, me with my kids, I have 2 daughters right now, and I actually got 1 on the way. And
congratulations.
Appreciate it. And my daughter, my oldest daughter, I remember having a conversation with her, like, our family don't look like the Cosby Show, but it's all right.
Right.
You know, we don't have to look the same as everybody else. You know, as long as we loving each other, looking out for each other, supporting each other, we gonna be family.
Right.
You know, so it's good to hear that too. Did your family and community contribute to your dream of having a big family?
Absolutely. Obviously, my family thought I was crazy when I first told them I wanted 10 kids, because
10.
Who does that these days? But you know, after the kids started coming, you know, my family saw that I was going to go through with this dream.
Yeah.
And they stood behind me. They stood behind me from the beginning, and they continue to stand behind me to this day. I mean, not just financially, but emotionally. I mean, anything I need, my family's always been there. My community, very helpful. The elementary school, Spring Hill, Miss Christie, the Project Grad program, they always, you know, give us things, you know, anything we need. You know, they always willing to help us out. And that's great.
I remember you was talking about one time about something about they gave you like a turkey or something.
Yes. Yes. I mean, they've given us many things, but I do remember at one time they gave us a turkey. My mom gave us a turkey, and we had a turkey. So it was a blessing in such a way that we actually had a turkey to give to somebody else. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And that was amazing. So
that whole ripple effect of the love. And when you told me this, it made me think of it's a you don't consider yourself a motivational speaker anymore, kind of like a results man. Tony Robbins talked about his experience as a kid where they was struggling and they needed it, and people came to their house during one of the holidays and brought him a basket. Right. And his dad was mad and slammed the door in their face, but then it changed him because he felt like he didn't think nobody cared, and he was excited that, you know, somebody cared enough that it made him say, I'm gonna get wealthy, I'm gonna be able to give and feed people. And he done fed over like 1 million people now, you know, and trying to feed 1 billion people. But then it kind of changed his life in that way. And I know I come from a family of 8, you know, and I'm gonna say assumption could be true or not true. You could be in a place of need, not be in a place of need. But then, you know, what do you think about, you know, that dynamic of, you got one, the son kind of felt in a way of like, this is great, where the dad kind of felt the pride of like, nah, hell no.
I mean, as a father, I know what his father felt. We all feel pride at times. We all want to feel like we can provide for our families. We can, you know, we can make everything happen. But the truth is, sometimes you can't. And sometimes we need help. And it didn't take me long to figure it out. When you have multiple children, you put that pride aside and you take that turkey. You see what I'm saying? Or whatever help that's coming your way, because you realize, like, hey, my pride is gonna cause maybe cause my kids to have a, you know, subpar holiday, and that, you know what I mean? You don't want that. So, you know, and as far as being, and now I know what Tony Robbins felt, because I see how those blessings help me and my family. And in turn, for my family, has helped other families.
So then even if you don't need it, sometimes somebody offers you something, you don't need it, and you can say, like, well, I'm going to take it because either I already know who could be blessed with this, or I know somebody could be. This could go to somebody.
I heard it before. I don't know exactly where, and it helped me so much in accepting things, because somebody said, when somebody is giving you something, that is a blessing for them. And if you don't accept it, then you are halting their blessing. And so that stuck in my head. So now every time anybody wants to give me something, or my family something, I always think, like, I don't want to stop their blessing. So I accept it. And then, like you said, if I don't need it, then I give it to the next family, or, you know, be a blessing to somebody else.
Pay it forward.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's see. Do you have any other interests that you feel actually connect or support this dream?
Yes, my job. I work as a direct support professional, DSP, direct care. So basically, I'm taking care of physical and mental handicapped individuals. And my specific individual happens to be a level 6, which means he's of the highest behavioral individual. So just working with him, and patience. You know what I'm saying? Patience, because you could go to work in 1 week, you know, just like any other household. Next week, you might catch a plate. You know what I mean? You know, you might get popped in the back of your head. So, I mean, and anybody's ever worked in that field knows that you can't approach those situations like you would on the streets. So you learn to adjust in those moments, and it helped me at home. Helped me deal with, not to rush, you know, a situation at home and dealing with my family.
So that patience, because I'm with you. I always would say I was a 0 to 60 person. But then you start working with kids, and you start where things happen where you almost have to kind of pump the brake and process, you know what I mean, and think about what you're about to say, what you're about to do, you know, all in these seconds. You gotta think about all that stuff. So then what's some things, if we wanted to unpack that patience, what's some steps or some tactics that you use in that patience?
Me at home, I separate myself. I might go in my room. I might go on the porch. I just take some time. I might play some music, or just something to clear my mind for a second, or not even necessarily just clear my mind, but something to just, let my nerves settle.
Yeah.
And then I make a more rational approach
to
the situation. You know what I mean? I have to do less apologizing.
Okay.
Right.
I like that, where you kind of say, I'm a process on the front end, so I don't have to do all this apologizing on the back end.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. With that said, I guess then, what is something, you got kids ranging from, elementary, pre-K, or?
Elementary to high school.
So kindergarten?
Yes.
All the way up to high school?
Yes.
All right, so then how do you deal with engaging that range of development?
I feel like, you got to definitely you got to deal with each child as an individual. You can't group them together. It can't be a blanket of how you deal with just your children. You have to deal with each of them separately, but also just, talking to friends who have kids in those at those ages, and or my elders and what they went through, and just advice. Just gather as much advice as you can.
Okay. So we could say it's some universal approaches that people have when they deal with their kids, and then it's some individual approaches that people have when they deal with kids. Can you kind of give us a scenario or a situation where it was one of those, like, this is my universal approach, this is in my house, we all know that this is the expectation, where then this is where I dealt with somebody on their own individual level?
I don't know. I would just say something universal that, I'm going to deal with each child, or it's going to be a consequence for you. Something like spitting. You know what I mean? That's just nasty, and you're not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? From the kindergartner up to the, high school, that's universal. But then, the high schooler may be going through some things that nobody else has dealt with yet. So I have to be individual for that person. I don't have a specific right now.
Yeah.
But just their ages, different stages cause you to deal with them in different ways.
So then let me ask you this: how do you, if you could say, like, my one thing that I do, or that's important to me when I'm dealing with my family, what's that one thing that you feel like that's important to you?
In dealing with my family, communication. Okay. I feel like that's the biggest key. You know what I'm saying? Communication with my wife, communication with my children. That helps a lot.
Okay. So you keep open lines of communication.
Absolutely.
How do you balance then? I guess as a parent, sometimes as parents, either, especially I'm gonna say right now, especially as a dad, speaking from the point of view of a dad, a lot of times dad feel like we the authoritarian person in the house,
right? And
so then we handle discipline, and like not to say that moms don't handle discipline or can't, but then if you're a dad there and you handling the discipline, or you think that's what you're supposed to do, how you get the balance of, okay, I'm communicating, I'm gonna keep open lines of communication, but I'm still your dad, and there's still some expectations that you got to meet when we engage in each other.
I think it starts from the beginning. I think you set a tone as a parent from birth, and I think that helps the child distinguish the differences between, is his dad have to be dad right now, and dad the human being. You know what I'm saying? And as they grow up, you separate that by, like I said, like I told you before, we have, game nights, and we cook together, and we play music together, and so they have times where they see me where I'm not being dad. You know what I'm saying? Where we might have a dance off, whatever, just fun. And I show them that joking side and that human side of me. But, if they need to see dad, then dad is always there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dad will show up and get it together. Let's see. I'm going to ask you, up to this point, what has been the biggest obstacle in achieving this goal of having a big family?
Probably being able to financially support each individual child's extra activities.
Okay.
I mean, it's a lot of stuff that I can say, but that sticks out because as a parent, you want, you know, your kid to be involved in the things that they ask you to be involved in, and it hurts you as a parent to say like, we can't do that this go around. But especially when you have 7 children, you know what I'm saying, and one want to play this and one want to play that and one want to go here and one want to go there.
Yeah.
You know that financially funding that is very difficult.
Okay. How do you and your wife balance even, I guess, participating in whatever the kids do? You know, I grew up in a family of 8, and sometime I might be doing a poetry slam or a speaking event. My brother might be playing basketball.
Right.
You know, my sister might be running track. You know, you can't, and it all might be on the same day,
right,
or in the same weekend. So I'm gonna say, how do you feel like you and your wife balance that? And then how do you feel like your kids receive that?
Well, the kids receive it, I think, well, because we communicate to them, you know, about what's going on, and they're growing up in it.
Yeah.
So it's not like, you know, they've had something their whole life and then we just ripping it away. So they're growing up in this way.
Yeah.
So that helps them understand what's going on. And then as far as me and my wife, how we deal with it, basically we try to be fair. You know, I don't want to go to all the football games and she go to all the dance recitals. So, you know, one day she might take, you know, one of the kids to the football practice and I'll go to the dance recital. And, you know, we just try to switch it and keep it as fair as possible. But you'll be surprised at how your kids, you know, pick up on the fact that you may or may not be interested in what they want to do. And as they grow and mature, you know, you might have a kid that say like, you don't gotta take me to dance practice, just come to my recital. And then you say like, all right, you know what I'm saying? And that's communication.
Yeah. So the kid comfortable even to say like, I picked up on where you at, and I understand like you don't want to see me practicing this stuff anyway.
Right.
So then you could just come check me out when I perform.
Right.
I like that because I think a lot of parents, either based off of their past history where they felt like nobody showed up to my event, or you know what I mean, and we so big on saying we're gonna give our kids what we didn't have, you know what I mean, that then the parent the one be more emotionally involved or wrapped up in if I didn't make it,
right,
which then I think transferred to the kid to say, you know, feel like, oh, well, you're supposed to be at everyone and everything, right. You know, when in real life, sometimes people ain't come. You gotta work, gotta do whatever you gotta do.
Right.
You know, or I ain't interested in it like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna go to chess practice and watch you like A7, you know?
Right.
You know, and it ain't a lack of love, it's just the reality.
It's just the reality.
Okay. With even building on that concept of the reality, how do you, let's talk, discipline is a big thing.
Right.
You know, we got people that's doing research and they talk about, you know, different forms of discipline and what you should do and what you shouldn't do, and people should never do this and sign a petition and don't, you know, to say that you ain't gonna ever do this with your kid and all that. So how do y'all deal with discipline with, you know, because you almost got a school, you almost got a class in your house, 7 kids.
Right. Well, like I said, I think you start from the beginning. You set a tone early before a kid gains momentum in their way.
Okay.
And especially if their way is a wrong way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of parents let their kids get too up in age, and by the time you fed up and ready to hit that reset button, y'all got to come to blows.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of families, they dealing with this, you know. In my own, you know what I'm saying? To be honest, not my household.
Yeah, your little kids.
Yeah, but just I've seen it in my family. Yeah, so definitely I think, you know, setting the tone early. I do believe in discipline. I believe in a household has to represent somewhat, you know, society in that there's consequences for everything. Yeah. So if you have a house with no discipline, no structure, or you know, or you're very, very light and lenient all the time, you know, that's not going to be the case if they commit a crime and have to go to court. The judge is not always going to be light and lenient. And I understand a lot of people hear the word discipline and they think, they see somebody rearing back with a belt or something crazy and just beating the mess out of kids. That's not always, the case. You know what I'm saying? When you hear the word discipline, sometimes that just means structure and setting your family up for success. To me, as adults, because I'm sorry.
I mean, I remember you were saying something about somebody was graduating from high school, and it was some months past, and I'm like, well, what they doing? And you like, nothing. And you was like, and it concerned me that they didn't jump into going to college, they didn't jump into a job, so then they didn't create a habit of the discipline of having to be up and go somewhere every day.
Right.
And do something every day. So then now they don't have this kind of habit of just kind of going with the flow of when they feel like it, but then still having the interest and the taste and the want of somebody who, when you're a kid, you want something, you just go ask.
Right. As
you become an adult, there's less few people you could ask and just get it.
Right.
And you ain't got that habit of doing nothing to get it.
Right. And what I was going to say before I lost my train of thought for a second is, and for the people out there who don't believe in discipline, like I said, not only, are you putting your child at risk of becoming part of the system, but you got to think about those times that when a crime is being committed on you, now you wish that person would have whipped their kid.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? When that little 18-year-old boy run up on you at the 18M, you wondering where the discipline is. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So, we discipline our kids, and we use many different tools and forms and ways that we discipline. We spank in our household, in a certain age gap.
Okay.
We, spend time alone, however people want to call it. I don't say time out. You know what I'm saying? But
I remember you saying dark and lonely.
Dark and lonely because it feels dark and lonely when you're in a house full of 9 people and you in your room.
You ain't participating.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So, yeah.
Do you stop all fun activities if somebody else in trouble? Like, do it stop for everybody else? Because sometimes some parents feel like, because such and such in trouble, I'm going to just take all of the video games and the TV and everything stop because such and such in trouble.
You know what? I ain't even gonna lie. Sometimes.
Okay.
Not all the time. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I say I'm gonna be honest about it is because when you're a parent of that many children, sometimes that one excuse will let you wrap everything up for the day so you can get some peace. You see what I'm saying? You get some peace and quiet, and then you tell the rest of them that I'm wrapping it up because such and such did this, and then what they gonna do is they gonna come at such and say, and it works because then they end up kind of policing themselves. You know what daddy expect. If you don't want them to wrap it up, you better do. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, you wrap it up for everybody.
Wrap it up, B. The whole and as a teacher, I feel that some people be like, oh, that's unfair. You can't punish the whole lot for one person. You know what I mean? But then sometimes I agree that it helped them see themselves as a unit. And it helped them police each other, and it helped them even experience correcting each other.
Right.
And what that looked like.
Right.
What it looked like to correct somebody else and be corrected, and how to receive that. Because these people you're going to grow up with all your life, and at some point y'all going to correct each other.
Right.
And if you ain't ever, if you always was looking to daddy and mama to correct you, then when you get older and they not, and y'all figure, okay, we'll punch him in the mouth or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
You kind of figuring it out, and you older now.
And sometimes it's the numbers game because sometimes when it's just daddy mad at you, then it's just daddy. But when your 6 brothers and sisters mad at you, you see what I'm saying? Now you got eyes on you.
Yeah.
So sometimes it works that way.
Okay. Do you kind of in this discipline or in giving consequence to their actions, you said communication, so is it clear on what it is that they supposed to do, or is it one of those kind of like ignorance of the law? Hey, you just hit,
I feel like I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna tell you what I expect of you.
Okay.
And we're gonna speak about it in detail.
Yeah.
And that way, when you go against that, then whatever consequence come from that, and you know, at this point now, I don't want to have a conversation. I don't want to hear your excuses at that point. You see what I mean? And some kids want to spend 2 hours giving you an excuse of this and that. No, I don't. Like, even like with school, with my kids, I have a rule in my house, and it works very well. You get it if you get in trouble 2 times for the same thing.
Yeah.
Then you subject to whatever punishment that come your way.
Okay.
So, you know, if teachers send me a note home, say excessive talking, we gonna sit down and we gonna say, do you understand what excessive talking is? Do you understand the right places and the wrong places to talk, and et cetera, et cetera? And they gonna say, yeah, I understand something. Say, you sure? You understand? Okay, we're gonna leave that there. Next paper comes, say excessive talking. Well, you know what I mean? You said right. So and it works. They know the rule.
So, do you have any who kind of play with the line?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I don't shy away from that, or I'm not afraid of that. A lot of parents are afraid of the testy kid. They wanna take sides and be more, cordial with the kids that just
ready made.
Yeah, and they kind of shy away and point the finger. Sometimes I don't. You my child. I'm gonna deal with you. We're gonna talk, and we're gonna have consequence, and we're gonna build you the right way.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you take on, some parents I think take on the feeling that if this kid is quote unquote bad, then it's my fault.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As a parent, I didn't do something, I messed them up. You know what I mean? What it went wrong, and if this kid good, I'm great. I'm a great parent, see, because my kid great. So
right.
Then how do you balance that feeling of, the kid is that's your kid and you training them and raising them, but then in another space, they their own person too.
I mean, I feel like the way I associate it is just, I'm honest about it. Yeah. So those kids that are great, and I associate myself with greatness.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. But at the same time, when, we all know our process and our growth.
Yeah.
And we know what we went through
as
children. And when I see it in my other children, I don't shy away from it. I don't look at them and say, I wish you could be more like such and such. You see what I'm saying? Because even though it's a family, and sometimes we group together a lot, we still individuals.
Yeah.
And I try to keep that clear in my house and in my mind, so that I can deal with each person that way. You see what I'm saying? So yeah.
Okay, so then you still kind of, I'm gonna meet you where you are.
Yeah.
So then if your son in school and he didn't disrespect the teacher, do you carry the feeling of like you went wrong? Or do you do you kind of show like this was your choice, that was a bad choice?
No, I don't feel like as parents in those instances we should feel like we went wrong, because especially today, with kids having so much access to social media and different forms of entertainment, you don't know, where they got some of this stuff from and why they chose to express that to the teacher. You know what I'm saying? So as a father, I wouldn't feel like that was my fault. You know what I'm saying? And I would deal with it, and I would talk to him, and we would work that out.
Yeah. Let's see. What tools or power did you use in moments to overcome any obstacles with having this big family?
A lot of communication, and like we spoke about earlier, just putting that pride aside and allowing friends and family to help me. If my mother or my grandmother wants to buy the school clothes, I'm gonna accept it. You see what I'm saying? And so those moments have helped me through a lot. A lot of people have sponsored my children, their sport events, or bought them some cleats or some shoes or something. You know what I'm saying? And at the beginning, you feel like hold up, I ain't poor. You know what I'm saying? I work. We got two incomes. But you understand, you working with a family.